GreensideDawah.com/donate.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon you, around you, and may there be a sense of peace emanating from within you. Brothers and sisters, much welcome. We're going to continue with nourishment in our second installment. And so with this episode, if you've seen the previous one, it is the question, what are you hungry for? And I believe in that we've gotten to the fact that all of us, or at least a majority of us, use food for other than nutrition. And a great book for you to check out is What Are You Hungry For by Deepak Chopra. A wonderful book that'll really lay out a lot more detail than we did in that short video. But today we're going to take a moment to discuss three components of the food that we do eat. So our brains are hardwired for three types of experiences in food, or three types of food: sugar, salt, and fat. Our tongue has a way to recognize it. Our brain has some amazing experiences happen when we have sugar, salt, and or fat, or a combination of the three. Now, you might say, well, what's the benefit of understanding this? If you don't know how your body reacts specifically to these three things, then let me tell you, if you don't look into it, food companies have spent hundreds and millions of dollars to find out which way you are going to consume sugar, salt, and fat. And whether that's the way the salt is shredded or broken down, we can talk about that more. But these three components are going to be a key factor in our food journaling. I want you to point out, after meals, I'm really craving sweets. I love the pretzel. I like the salty taste. And some of us have never actually thought about fat as a taste. Because if I say, does it taste fatty? You're like, ew, that's nasty. Except when you have a nice, a fresh bagel with nice creamy butter on top of it, that butter, when you're biting into it, that's fat. We can't necessarily deem it to be I can't explain it to you, but I could say when you bite into it, you feel that wetness. And it's more than the butter, it's the fat that's going to sit, and then you're going to get that very nice feeling. Now, the body wants you to hold on to it. Your body wants you to have these experiences because you need sugar, salt, and fat. But if you aren't putting the attention into it, food companies are going to they're going to take advantage. It's going to be a dopamine shot every time you have a sugar, and you're going to crave salts and the different types of salt: grain salt, shredded salt, powdered salt, fine salt, different levels and gradients of salt. So this is something I want to start working on right now. So these are the seeds I'm leaving for today. And yes, I don't want to give a book every time we talk, but there's a book called Sugar, Salt, and Fat by Michael Moss. We'll start to talk about that more. So anyone who really wants to dive into these experiences, I'll tag in the books that were a part of the research. And yes, if you're catching my NutriBullet in the back in the coming episodes, I really hope that we are using different methods. Not specifically making shakes or smoothies or using a NutriBullet, but we're using different methods to consume food for nutrition, not consuming food for ritual. So I'm planting these seeds in the background right now. What are the ways you consume sugar, salt, and fat? Can you label that down on your food journal and say, hey, just write the words sugar, salt, and fat on the side of your food journal, and you'll start to really quickly recognize, wait a minute, the foods that I crave are along these paths. So if you would, that's what we're working on right now, and immediately let's make that shift. What did we say we were going to work on as today's activity? Is if I'm going to begin to control my mood, right? If I'm going to begin to identify, then you might have to look at the Sunnah supplements portion for this. But what is it that I'm craving? What emotions are not being satisfied? Did I not feel unconditional love? And I hope this doesn't offend anyone who's just catching the nutrition part. But let's get a little bit deeper. On one side, is there an unconditional love that hasn't been met? Are there models of anger? Have there been models of anger that you have been shown that make you aggressive? And in that inability to deal with angry situations, food becomes an outlet. So love and anger are something. I'm going to push that over to the Sunnah supplement side. But let's start dealing with that. Because on the other hand, if you're like, well, I am eating for nutrition, then let's talk about it. And that's the activity for today. But those are the two little seeds I'm planting deeper inside you is, yes, it's great for me to say, what are you hungry for? But when you get through this book, and I'm hoping you get a chance to read it, you start to say, yeah, I'm eating to change my emotional state, and there's something lacking in the emotional state. You got it. So that lack, that whatever you're doing to fill the void, to numb yourself, we have to figure that out. So that's a different story. We'll talk about addictions in another episode. That will be Sunnah supplements. For now, let's get into the 3 ritualistic meals that we believe we have to eat. You don't have to eat because it's a certain time on a clock, but we're going to take our time with that. Before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and any other snacking. I'm going to try to you're fasting, so I'm assuming that there's not so much snacking going on. But if you're not in the state of fasting, then before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner, I want you to start consuming the nutrition from the air. Because you know what you're trying to get from the world around you is oxygen and water. And both of these are made up, they're so bound together. So we're going to talk about this coming in an episode or two, but I'll always love foreshadowing it. That is living waters, eating our waters. So I left that out there. You can definitely talk about that and look up more on consuming living waters. But the exercise, and we've bounced around it, is now before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm going to take 5 deep breaths. Now, in our last episode, we talked about taking mouth breaths, and that was advanced. And my chest isn't rising. I'm just filling the air, holding it, and then cycling out that air for 5. Chin down, pull the chin down. There you go. Now, this cycle, it's a little advanced to get to. So today I want to start with something simple. Pull the air from the furthest part of the room, and pull it in through your nose. You're holding that for 5. Now I want you to walk that air out. Hold it at the bottom. Bring the air from the furthest point in the room. Chest isn't rising, holding that air in the abdomen, feeling it, circulating it, digesting it out for 5. Hold it at the bottom, bringing air from the furthest point. Hold that air at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, and cycle that air out. Last breath from the furthest distance. Pulling it in, drawing the air to yourself, holding it, pushing that lower abdomen down. You feel a little gassy, it's okay. And then fold it out. Deep breath in, take control of your air. This is your opportunity before each meal. Now, go to your meal. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy just as you enjoyed those 5 breaths. Chew every bite of food as many times as you can, more than 10, possibly 20. Chew until you can feel the food breaking down. Tell your body, I feel you. I'm going to take care of as much work as I can over here, And I'm going to have mercy on you, my stomach. I'm going to have mercy on you, tummy. I'm going to have mercy on you, my intestines. So nourishment is going to have a lot to do with the, I don't want to call it detox. I just want you to start loving your body. Start loving the organs, loving the intestines, loving the gut. That's what you're doing when you're fasting. Friends, 5 deep breaths, whether in through your nose or if you're advanced, you're trying to open up that throat center. Yeah, you can do it from your mouth, but otherwise, these are the 5 breaths. You'll try to take them, hold them for 5, circulate out like you're squeezing a sponge or pushing the air away, putting it back from where you took it for 5 counts, and then go on to your meal. I think this is where we really wanted to get started. This is where we wanted to ask questions, talk about diet without the concept of losing. This is about gaining. This is about nourishment. This is about you feeling fantastic. So if you can, I got my little NutriBullet set up here for us. We'll talk about it. With my Crohn's, it's a great thing to have for my digestion. So it's up to you. People find it gimmicky. It worked for me for 2+ years, if not 3 years constantly, but 2 years nothing but. And it did tremendous things for me. If I can get you to find what works for you, that'll be great. Jazakallahu khairul jaza. Quick shout out, they did not give me this t-shirt. My kids go to Camp Salam. It was something wonderful, and I don't know if they'll even know this, but I wore it today. I thought about them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provide a healthy way for all of our kids to spend the summer. And if, you know what, I'll connect this back. You're doing nourishment for your kids, for your family, for your future. You're bringing nur, light, barakah, kale, and greeny, leafy, lifey foods in, not just for yourself, but for your kids and everyone going forward. May Allah bless you all tremendously. I'll catch up with all of you soon. Peace be upon you, around you, and from within you. We're still catching up to those last 10 days, friends. Let's make the best of it. I'll see you in one more episode.